Welcome to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast, the hub where we emphasize the importance of small businesses in our communities. This is your host, SK. Every episode, we delve into a crucial aspect of entrepreneurial world, underscoring why supporting local businesses is key to a thriving community. Today, we embark on a journey into sustainable energy, exploring the intersection of innovation, environmental stewardship, and the role of small businesses in leading the charge towards a greener future. Without further ado, let's dive into today's discussion. We are very honored to welcome Ranjith Narayanasamy to our podcast, an award winning leader with a profound impact on engineering, carbon capture utilization and storage, and sustainable energy innovations. Ranjit brings over 19 years of experience and dedication to the forefront of environmental solutions. As the President and CEO of PTRC, Sustainable Energy, he spearheads pivotal initiatives in CCUS, geothermal, and blue hydrogen research. His journey from a new immigrant to a visionary leader, coupled with his commitment to Indigenous business development and environmental excellence, makes Ranjit's story a beacon of inspiration and innovation. Join us as we delve into his experiences, achievements, and the transformative work being carried out under his leadership at PTRC. Good morning, Ranjit, and welcome to the Canadian SME Small Business Podcast. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me, SK. I really appreciate your time too.
Thank you. It's truly an honor to have you with us, Ranjit, sharing your remarkable journey from arriving in Canada with dreams and determination to leading one of the most significant non-profit R&D companies in the sustainable energy sector. Your passion for making a positive impact and driving meaningful change in the world is both inspiring and enlightening. And we are very eager to explore your insights into sustainable energy, your contributions to environmental stewardships, and how small businesses can play a crucial role in this vital energy. So let's start discussing about the how to overcome challenges as a new immigrant. The journey of a new immigrant is filled with challenges and opportunities for growth. Ranjit, could you share your personal experiences and challenges you faced as a new immigrant to Canada and how these experiences shaped your leadership style and approach at PTRC?
No, that's a great question. Like I want to say is, being a immigrant to this country is a very humbling thing. I can see from your hard work to what you're doing is you come from definitely from a like me from a different country to have a living in Canada, right? To make a living in Canada. So for me, when I first came here, I was a little bit fortunate. Why I'm saying fortunate is I came as a student. I always tell people going to any country as a student is a big thing. The reason is it really helps you to understand the country, and it gives you an opportunity to integrate with the local people and also able to understand the culture faster. And also you see the challenges, right? As a students, most students are poor. Doesn't matter. They come from international or they're local. They all have the same challenges.
Right.
And in terms of that, for me, I remember the first day, when I come to Canada, one thing I realized is, what? Canada is the land of opportunities. If I really work hard, if I true to myself, I'm gonna do well. That's what I thought about. And even when I initial stages it was really hard. Even I am being very honest, I didn't even have money to buy a bed. But what's one of my friends said, there is a Laura's disposal, where some students will leave their beds when they leave the semester, right?
Right.
So I went to that place, then I'm able to find a bed. Just sitting in next to the dumpster, but it was in a decent shape. I picked up that bed. That's
Right.
fine. But I know when I picked up that bed, I know it's a temporary. It's not going to be permanent because it's not that I'm going to be like this forever. But today, I think with all the hard work and good support and mentors and my family, I'm able to sleep in a decent bed. It's nothing wrong in starting very humbly in this country, but again, the challenges you have to use these challenges as a learning opportunities. I learned a lot. You know what I'm saying? The most important thing I learned in the last many years in my career is being humble and don't afraid to work hard. give it everything you have. Once you do it, definitely you're gonna do well in Canada. Doesn't matter which country you are, but
Right.
you have to have that attitude, being humble and just work hard.
Right. As you rightly said, Ranjit, like, Canada is a land of opportunity for those people who are ready to work hard. Thank you for sharing your personal experience. Even when I landed in Canada in 2016, I started doing a lot of odd jobs. I used to do a lot of construction work. Then I started with Uber. Then my dream was to start launch the magazine. Then I was after doing the hard work, I was able to launch the small business podcast, a small business Canadian SME Small Business magazine, and we have been delivering two large trade shows for small businesses each year.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. Now, I want to say to you too, I'm really humbled to meet someone like you. You're also inspiring me today,
Thank you so much.
right? Now you are driving Uber, but also you are giving a lot of business to Uber drivers. Now you have money to buy more food ordering in Uber, right?
Right,
So
right,
that's you are contributing back to the Canadian economy.
right,
I
right.
want to commend you and appreciate you for all your hard work too, because this country is built by immigrants, honestly.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your appreciation. Listeners, as we reflect on Ranjit's journey and the hurdles he has overcome, it's a powerful reminder of the resilience and determination that define the immigrant experience. It's stories like this that highlight the incredible contributions immigrants make to our society and the vibrant diversity they bring into the fabric of our communities. Let's carry this spirit of perseverance and inclusivity into every facet of our life, recognizing the strength that comes from diverse perspectives and experiences. Now, Ranjit, what advice would you give to a new immigrants aspiring to make an impact in the Canadian energy sector?
No, that's great. I think I want to say Canada is Canadian energy sector is very resilient and a very good. The way I'm saying very good is I think Canada, especially if you look at the Western Canada, like in Alberta and Saskatchewan, I'm living in Saskatchewan and Alberta, they are the number one and number two oil producer because there's a lot of talks about energy transition and everything. But I will say in Western Canada, especially Saskatchewan, we produce the most cleanest oil because we have a carbon capture and utilization. Like we are using CO2 to produce oil. It's called enhanced oil recovery. The PTRC, the company, I'm very fortunate to be a CEO. It's a very innovative company. We are pumping 400 to 500 tons of CO2 a day for a permanent storage of CO2. No other jurisdiction or country has done it commercially like what we have done in Canada, in Saskatchewan. We are a global leaders. There are other projects, but we are the pioneers. We are talking about some real cool, innovative stuff. But the energy sector is very, very important for Canada. I know there's a transition, everything happening at the same time. If you look at the energy sector in Canada, they invest a lot of money, do research and development about producing more energy with less emission. That's what the PTRC does. We look at how we can reduce the water usage, land disturbance, and also how we can produce environmentally friendly energy. That's what our main work is. I think there's an opportunity here is because Canada has a lot of natural resources, especially in Western Canada. I think the Canadian economy, if you look at it, I think Western Canada plays a very important role in entire Canadian economy because of their natural resources. In Saskatchewan, not only oil and gas, potash, mining, uranium. It's a huge agriculture province. So it is kind of like a mixed fried rice. You know what I'm saying in terms
Right.
of the Canadian economy, but energy plays a very important role. For a newcomer, for me, I want to say my career for last 18 to 19 years, I'm able to win bread because of the energy industry in Canada.
Right.
I worked at another big crown corporation called Saspor for 16 plus years. They are similar to Hydro One in Ontario, where you're from. So, which is kind of like provide the power for the people of Saskatchewan for the industries, right? So the energy industry is very important. You tell me how we can survive without energy industry,
No, no.
but energy industry cares and they do really good work and they also really care about the environment and clean innovation and stuff. So I want to say for newcomers, working in an energy industry is a really good thing. and it's a really good opportunity to grow your career. And also you're able to have a successful career in energy industry, in Canadian energy industry. I will say Canadian energy industry is a very important for economic and career development. Personally, for me, without the energy industry, I wouldn't be talking to you today.
All right. Thank you so much, Ranjit, for sharing your advice with our audience. Your personal story of perseverance, adaptation, and success provides valuable insights and inspiration for me as well as for many immigrants and Canadians alike, emphasizing the power of resilience and vision in achieving one's goals. Now, Ranjit, let's discuss about the partnership with MyTax. Innovation in sustainable energy often requires significant investment in research and development. Ranjit, can you elaborate on the strategic partnership between PTRC and MyTax and how this collaboration effectively doubles the funding for energy R&D at universities in Canada?
No, that's great. I want to say the MyTax is a federal program. It's a really, really good program. Why I'm saying really, really good program is because imagine if you come as a student to do master's or PhD or postdoc, you know, basically the MyTax program is able to match the research funding like organizations like PTRC invest, and they match the dollar to dollar. And for example, if you're a master student doing a research in carbon capture and storage, for example, for a program where we fund those kind of programs with the University of Regina or even Saskatchewan universities, even we do have a partnership with some Western universities too. But predominantly we work with the University of Regina. Let's say we fund $100,000 for a research program. My tag matches another 100,000. Imagine if you're a master's and PhD student. I came here as a master's student to Canada. As a student, we talked about it before. We are poor breeds. As a student, no student is rich. You know
Right,
what I'm saying? But these kind of investments is a really good for the students to be able to work on important research and development in clean energy, because clean energy is a bright future. It's going to be a big economic driver for all countries, not only in Canada.
right,
And when the students are able to get some stipend and some kind of internship and money to do the work which is needed for industry, not for the sake of doing the degree, they're working on industry related projects that helps them to get jobs too. So it's a win-win-win for all of them. It's a win for organization like us, industry like us. It's a win for universities.
right,
It is a win for people like students. We both were students before, right? So
right, right.
it's a win-win-win. So I think this kind of combination programs is really useful for all the people who are going to universities. I want to
Right.
say it's a mutually beneficial program. I think the MyTax is a great program, and again, we are very fortunate to collaborate with the MyTax.
Thank you for those insights. Ranjit, your strategic initiatives like the partnership with MyTax underscore the importance of collaboration in accelerating sustainable energy research and development, offering a promising outlook for Canada's energy future. Now, let's discuss about AcquiStore field site and research program. Carbon capture and storage play a crucial role in addressing global CO2 emissions. Can you tell us more about PTRC's Equistore field site and its significance in global study of CO2 storage safety and effectiveness?
No, that's a great question. See, AcquiStore is a flagship. It's a flagship project of PTRC. The PTRC team worked really hard, and that project is developed in 2010, looking at permanent CO2 storage from a man-made CO2. I'm talking about man-made CO2. The CO2 from the Boundary Dam plant in Estevan, which is kind of like a 230 kilometers from Regina, where I am right now, where that carbon capture facility is capturing the carbon from the coal plant. The carbon dioxide, CO2, is converted into a supercritical form, and we are injecting deep under the ground, like in a geological formation called a deep saline formation, Deadwood Formation, which is 3.2 kilometers deep. We are storing the CO2. The most important thing about storing the CO2 is safe. Our biggest, the work the PTRC does is measurement, monitoring, and verification of CO2 to make sure the CO2 we are injecting is safe. As of today, we have over 590,000 tons of CO2. permanently stored. It's a real time. And this is the flagship I said is you go any CCS conference in the world, they talk about AccuStore. Even we have done work in Vietnam. We have a collaboration with the Australian companies, Jogmec from Japan. They all invested in AccuStore and the US. And like they're using AccuStore as a model for future CO2 storage projects. The reason is we have done it, we have proven it, and last 8 to 9 years of injection, and there is a really good monitoring and measurement. There is no CO2 leakage. So we are able to prove that CO2 storage is safe because I will say the carbon capture and storage is a protein for energy mix. Because if you look at the buffet, you need everything. You need wind, solar, geothermal, nuclear, and also you need carbon capture and storage. The reason I'm saying is the emissions are not only coming from power plants. Look at the steel industry, cement industry, refineries, any heavy industry, aluminum manufacturing, ethanol plants. This carbon capture and storage technologies can help to reduce the CO2 footprint. That's why people are really interested in CO2 storage and carbon capture technologies because this is kind of like a protein for the energy industry. What I'm saying is it's like a buffet. You need everything, right? You cannot just eat one thing, right? You need everything. So in terms of the energy mix buffet, I think CCS will play a very important role. And we are very fortunate to prove that we can store CO2 safely.
Right. And Ranjit, how does the AccuStore project contribute to the broader conversation on climate change and sustainable energy?
No, definitely. I think like last year in COP28 in the climate change conference in Dubai, and Saskatchewan government had a pavilion. They have their own pavilion. I think we were highlighted CO2 storage, the CCS, CCUS, carbon capture, utilization, and storage, almost in every panel session. We talked about, and I end up speaking in 6 panels. Even ADNOC, the top 7 oil producers in the world, invited me to speak in a flagship panel in Abu Dhabi, like about carbon capture and storage, because everybody's taking what we have done serious. Like they're showing, they want to know what we have done. That's what the work we did in Vietnam is looking at their geological formation to see whether Vietnam can have a storage like what we have done. We have done the study. It was funded by Asian Development. So we are able to transfer the knowledge what we have, and we are able to provide to the other parts of the world. And also we developed a carbon capture storage workshops. And we almost did workshops for more than 132 people in the last 15 months.
That's
Like
great.
even we were hired by a largest engineering company in Houston. So our team went to Houston to do a workshop with them for 2 days. And we have done a training for major energy companies in Canada. So we are transferring the knowledge. That's the most important thing, right? We have done it. And people see, if we are seeing more than 100 people wants to sit and talk and pay us to do the training and workshops, it clearly shows the energy industry is taking this really serious and they want to do it. So we are using the knowledge what we gain and we are transferring to the people.
Right. Ranjit, your work with the AccuStore project highlights the tangible steps like being taken towards environmental sustainability and positions Canada as a leader in carbon capture and storage research. Now, let's talk about advancement in geothermal energy. Like, as geothermal energy represents a significant yet underutilized renewable energy source in Canada. How has PTRC's involvement in geothermal energy research and projects in Saskatchewan paved the way for advancement in this sector?
No, that's a great question again. I think we are subsurface experts, right? Because if you look at the CO2 storage, even if you look at the oil and gas reservoirs, when you drill the well, you're looking for oil. For geothermal, same skill sets and technologies are used looking for a hot water. Unfortunately, in the region where we live in Saskatchewan and in Alberta, there is a really good geological formation with the hot water where we can utilize for geothermal heating. And what we did is last year, City of Regina, thanks to the City of Regina mayor and the council, they hired PTRC to look at the geothermal aquatic center. For example, they're building a new aquatic center. They were asking us, is it possible to use geothermal for heating? Saskatchewan is a colder province. You need a lot of heat, a lot of natural gas, but we are able to use the knowledge we gained in subsurface with the CO2 storage. We applied the same knowledge and skill sets, and we are able to do a feasibility study. And that project was approved by Regina City Council to go ahead. I think they're just waiting for their final approvals and stuff, but the city council approved that project. So, and also City of Estevan here, they are also working with PTRC. We did a feasibility study for how we can apply geothermal heating for municipal buildings, schools, the colleges there for district heating. So we are able to transfer the knowledge what we have in subsurface in development of geothermal. I want to say proudly, we have two geothermal projects in Saskatchewan now. I think geothermal for whole Canada is untapped. You mentioned that SK rightly, there is untapped. There is a lot of potential there. And as a PTRC, we are innovative and innovation leaders. We want to develop that, and we have two projects in hand right now. We're really happy about that. And also, University of Regina, they started the geothermal engineering program. We funded that program to do some research on it. So it's a very exciting times, in Western Canada, looking at a new type of technology development again to reduce the carbon footprint.
Right, great to hear that. Through initiatives like, as you mentioned, geothermal energy advancement, Ranjit, you are at the forefront of diversifying Canada's energy sources, right, and demonstrating the potential for renewable energy to meet our environmental and economic goals.
Yep.
Now, yeah, let's discuss about the Indigenous procurement policies. Like Indigenous engagement and participation are vital in creating inclusive and sustainable energy solutions. Reflecting on your work at Sask Power and now at PTRC, how have you integrated indigenous procurement policies to foster meaningful collaborations with indigenous communities?
That's a great question. I think SAS Power, I'm very fortunate to work for them for 16 plus years. And I want to say SAS Power is a leader in indigenous procurement in Canada, honestly. Before I left, we are able to procure over $300 million of, indigenous procurement from indigenous companies. That's a real, because the reason is I want to give credit to indigenous people and their organizations because they're also stepping up. They want to be part of the economic development for their people and for their communities. I think the credit goes to indigenous communities and people and their companies for able to work hard and able to be very successful. I'm really fortunate to work with them. And for PTRC, so I will give you one good example. If you want to make indigenous procurement happen, you have to have a will, and you have to really commit it. So we are committed with the Canadian Council for Aboriginal Business towards the bronze status, and silver and gold is 3 levels.
Right.
But we are committed. So what we did is recently the JOGMEC, the Japanese company we are working with, they are working with us. They are investing. They invested actually $500,000 of work in our Akistore site for installing a new fiber cables.
Okay.
We hired an indigenous company, KDM contractors, to do the work for trenching. They have done some amazing work, and great. They finished everything on time, on budget, and more than that is their professionalism from the indigenous companies are great.
Right.
So we single source that work to them because that's the right thing to do because it's a good business. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
also, like that's the kind of commitment we have, and we have a scholarship with the First Nations universities.
Okay.
PTRC have a scholarship with the First Nations University. And also we are working with another very good organization called First Nations Power Authority, FNPA.
Hmm.
They develop renewable energy projects across Western Canada. So we are working jointly on indigenous clean fuels awareness.
That's
It's a
great.
collaboration with them. It's a multi-year project, and that we're going to see that first workshop of that work with the First Nations Power Authority coming out soon in a month or two. So
Okay.
we collaborate with FNPA very closely, and also we have a indigenous policy in a company, and my team takes care of that indigenous opportunities. Whenever they see an opportunity to work with the indigenous company, even our HR consultant is indigenous.
Oh, great to hear that.
So you have to walk the talk, right? That's very important. And we are a small organization, but we are able to, you know, do the right things. And again, indigenous economies are very.
You are in small organization doing great things, huh?
We are trying. You know what I'm saying? Like a good is the enemy of the great, right? So
Right.
I love that book, Good to Great. You know, everyone should read that book.
Yeah.
I'm just saying is we need to try to get better, because there's continuous improvement. Even in your podcast, you are doing continuous improvement, right? You are
Right.
bringing different people to your podcast. You are
Right.
bringing an energy guy like me to the
Right.
podcast, right?
Right. Right.
So we all are trying to thrive to get better,
Right.
and we
Yes.
are not perfect, but we have a right attitude to get better.
Right. Right. Now, Ranjit, what lessons have you learned from these experiences that you have shared just now, and how can other organizations adopt similar approaches?
I think the main thing is commitment. You know what I'm saying? I think again, you have to take this commitment serious. You don't want to put a policy or news release out and saying, "Hey, I'm doing this." But like I said, you have to walk the talk. How you going to do is, like, people, even at Sasper, when we started small. We started one step at a time. We started first meeting the communities, meeting the vendors, understanding how they work, right? And also what kind of the body of the work we can able to set aside, and we can provide that work to them. You know what I'm saying? Then it's just evolved, right? It's like a one step at a time. But if you're afraid to take even a first step, you're always going to be there and talking there itself, right? It's kind of like for you and me, classic example, coming to Canada.
Right.
It's a big risk, right?
Yeah.
Like we don't have a crystal ball what we're going to do, right? But we know is Canada has opportunities, but we didn't know. Like there's a lot of risk, right? When you live, same thing. The people worry about the risk, but if you don't take the leap forward and commit and want to do right policies and right opportunities, you can really do well. It's about taking that one step ahead. You know what I'm saying? To just put together a good program, and you can do it. Again, it's all about working with people, right? If we put our mind and heart to something, I think personally we can do it.
Yeah. You
I
can
can
achieve.
do it. Anyone can.
Right, right. Thank you. Ranjit, your commitment to improving indigenous procurement policies and fostering collaboration underlines the importance of inclusivity and partnership in achieving sustainable development goals. Ranjit, before we conclude, I do like to ask one more question that I believe will resonate with many of our listeners. Like drawing from your vast experience in engineering, leadership, and sustainable energy, what piece of advice would you give to entrepreneurs and innovators who are striving to make a positive impact in the world, particularly in the realms of environmental sustainability and clean energy?
No, that's a great question. For me personally, I will share it. These three I's: innovation, investment, and impact. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I spoke about this, one of the Crown Collaboration conference to 300 leaders last November. I said is, if you look at the investment, like it's like you coming to Canada or even your own education. You are working as a volunteer for the community. So you're investing your time and you're investing in learning. You are investing in the community. Like even for entrepreneurs, it applies. Like you are investing your own time, because as an entrepreneur, you are starting pro bono. Mostly you are working with your sweat equity, but that investment is worth it, right? Even we all did that lot of work, right? Like every time you're doing some work, it's not going to bring you results right away, but the experience you're going to gain is that investment you are learning. Second thing is innovation. Innovation means you don't need to produce a Mars rover to go somewhere, but there are people do it. That's great. I love to do one, but for me, innovation is continuous improvement. Even always, I believe in one thing is when you leave the place better than what you are, like even your podcast and stuff, if you are improving even 5%, 10%, even 20% of time, is that's is innovation, right?
Right.
Even the having your mic there, that is innovation. But I don't have that mic. I'm learning how can I get the mic. I'm learning from you, right?
Right.
That is innovation. Innovation is like you have to continuously think about how you can improve and innovate. And the last thing I personally believe is impact. Anything you do, make sure there is some small impact for your industry, for your community, even for your own self. If you can make some impact in what you do, definitely you're going to do well. That's what entrepreneurs and everyone is. They all want to make impact. You know why entrepreneurs are more important? They create jobs.
Right. That's true.
Entrepreneurs are the economic engine of any country.
Right.
Even you are entrepreneur, you know what I'm saying? And you are trying to create jobs. So I want to give you kudos to you.
Thank you.
So these three things are personally for me. I don't know whether it applies to everyone. I don't it doesn't matter for me. These three are very important. Always invest, innovate, and make sure there is some impact in what you do.
Thank you so much, Ranjit, for sharing your valuable advice with our audience. And thank you so much for sharing your invaluable contributions to sustainable energy and for sharing your journey and insights with us. It was truly an honor hosting you today.
No, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate this opportunity. And also, entrepreneur like you are very important. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ranjit, for your kind words. Today's episode reinforces the message that sustainable energy solutions and environmental stewardships are within reach. With dedicated leaders like Ranjit paving the way, it serves as a call to action for small businesses, researchers, and individuals alike to play an active role in our collective journeys towards sustainability. Special thanks to our partners, exclusive banking partner RBC, exclusive shipping partner UPS, exclusive accounting software partner Zero, and exclusive email partner Constant Contact for the generous support. And we encourage our listeners to stay engaged with the topics discussed today and to explore how you can contribute to sustainable energy initiatives in your area. And also remember to subscribe to Canadian SME Small Business Magazine by visiting our official website canadiansme.ca for more enlightening conversations and practical advice.